1 word, haha. 2 words, haha funny. 3 words, haha funny laugh. That's exactly what I hope your reaction is to my videos, and it's words we all love. We love to laugh and to attain laughter. We all watch funny things. With me so far? Good. Just checking. In the genre of funny things, in my opinion, anime is all the way down there. While the genre is good at a great many number of things and is, in my opinion, the best form of media there is, ahead of live action movies and TV shows. The loud and quirky, haha funny comedy has just never landed for me. The type of quote-unquote humor which is, oh my god, look at my brother sister, they're being a pervert again, surprisingly also didn't work for me. Not only is there a cultural divide on account of me not being from Japan, but comedy and media in general is just very hard to do. Jokes are way harder to execute and convey because punchlines are easier to see coming on the audience's part. Another problem for the audience is the lack of any requirement of any imagination whatsoever. In my opinion, part of the reason why anything is funny is because you imagine it as someone tells you the joke. I know it sounds weird, stay with me, I promise it'll make sense. To have it play out in front of you is just never going to be as funny as someone telling you a good joke because you're not part of the comedy routine anymore. It takes the imagining away from you. And that's why stand-up comedy will always be the best form of comedy. There's just something about a guy getting up on stage and telling you jokes in person that nothing else could replicate or beat. The viewer or the audience is just as much a part of the comedian's set as the comedian himself, so there isn't really going to be any type of media that can make you laugh as hard as a comedian can. Or at least that's what I thought until I watched Daily Lives of High School Boys. You need to watch this shit. If ever there was an anime that is going to make you roll over laughing, this is the one. This show is about a few high school boys. Their name might have given it away as they go through their daily lives and get themselves into a bunch of messed up situations, basically. There's also a part about girls called High School Girls Are Funky, but just like in real life, they are marginalized and barely mentioned. All the more reason to watch the show, I say. What makes Daily Lives of High School Boys unique is that the humor isn't all in your face, annoying, loud, laugh track requiring jokes. It's subtle most of the time. As the boys end up in increasingly sticky scenarios composed of just everyday life, you wonder, how could anyone ever end up in this situation and what's gonna happen next? What's more, the show uses your experience as someone who went through the trauma of attending high school to get across how awkward some of these situations would be if they happened to you when you were in high school. Not only that, but the punchlines also aren't in your face and annoying. They let you actually experience their humor instead of the usual anime style of, oh look, there's the joke, oh don't you get it? Wait, don't you get it? Oh, if you still don't get it, I'll let this guy explain it to you, exposition style. It doesn't shove your fucking face in it, full marks for that. The show follows Hidenori Tabata, Yoshitake Tanaka, and Tadakuni. If you're wondering, yes, Tadakuni is in fact just Tadakuni. We're not given any explanation for this. He could be anything from an alien to an orphan. Anyway, unimportant to the plot, moving on. The anime opens with, oh shit, I forgot, light spoiler warning from here on out for Daily Lives of High School Boys. I'll try not to ruin any of the jokes, but I will tell you how the show works, and I will go into a couple of the bits. A bit is a joke routine for those that don't know. If you want to go into it completely blind, I understand, and I will wait for you to leave the video. 3, 2, 1, alright. So the anime opens with our gang of friends running towards school and having some breakfast on the way. The opening sets the tone for the entire thing because that piece of bread is clearly not in his mouth. How the fuck is that not dropping on the road? The anime is composed of completely unrelated incidents in the boys' lives. Kinda like comedy sets, they have a bit, play a bit, and move on to the next one. Bit. I cannot mention this enough. I really want you to experience this anime by yourself for the first time. So I'm not gonna go through all the bits here, but just know I love all of them. My favorite one though has to be by far the literary color bit. We're gonna go through that. The setup is simple. A lonely high school boy, one of our protagonists, Hidenori, is sitting by a riverbank trying to read and failing because the wind is blowing too hard. As he's thinking about all the retarded decisions he's made in his life that's led him up to this point, a girl shows up. The girl decides to sit dangerously close to Hidenori. I mean, it's no secret. We all know we used to be scared of women back in high school. Some of us still are. And the girls are portrayed as these demonic creatures whose only business is to bully boys all day. So yeah, this was the most relatable and realistic part of the anime by far. Hidenori starts sweating bullets because he thinks correctly that the girl is expecting some super romantic encounter. That's why she's sitting us so close. Hidenori thinks about it for a while, then comes out with, the winds are lashing out today. It immediately makes him want to delete himself, but the girl seems into it. She gets up and retorts, however, this wind is softly weeping. Hidenori's first reaction is laughter and an internal monologue saying that this chick's completely lost it, and at this point, both me and Hidenori are about ready to off ourselves from secondhand embarrassment. So he calls his friends to get him out of this awkward situation. Yoshitake shows up and immediately goes, "Hurry up, this wind has brought something terrible into town," throwing Hidenori completely under the bus. Luckily for him, Tadakuni shows up and Tadakuni makes Patrick look like Einstein, so he has no idea what's going on. This is what he says. In fact, I'll give you a second. I'll give you a second to imagine what he has to add to this esoteric situation. "Dude, the fries are half off at the next store. We gotta get some of that action." That is what he says, word for word. The literary girl is furious at this because Tadakuni ruined her romantic encounter, so she immediately goes to eliminate Tadakuni. But in doing this, she lets her bag fall to the ground and her manga she's writing falls out from the bag. As a fellow writer, that's an amateur mistake. You don't want to let people read unfinished work. Turns out, the manga is about a protagonist who can control the powers of the wind and likes to read by riverbank. That's why she sat next to Hidenori. It also says that the protagonist looks like a lifeless otaku. Do with that information what you will. Anyway, the next time we see the literary girl with Hidenori, this is what he has to say about the situation. But in his own words, he is an
しかし俺もエンターテイナーを
and will not disappoint the girl as far as she's come. So he tries, with his opening move being, "The wind is chilly." If you're just as disappointed as I was and I imagine the literary girl was, don't worry. Hidenori knows he fucked up. He scrambles to come up with a better sentence, apologizing mentally the entire time, and blurts out, "A cold front is coming." Now if the first one had Hidenori worried, this one has him crashing out. He tries to save the situation with, "This wintry gale comes from Siberia." Oh god, that's embarrassing. Now I thought this was bullshit, but turns out the cold winds from Siberia do actually travel to Japan. I was shocked. Not at the fact that the winds do travel there, but at the fact that Hidenori was actually right for once. The literary girl, however, continues to be unimpressed, so Hidenori plays his final card. "This wind, it sparkles." Oh my god. Guys, if you ever meet a girl in real life, just take this advice from me. Don't do what this guy's doing, okay? It works out for him in the end, spoilers, but don't do this. Don't do this. Now, Hidenori thinks that he's finally hit something good here, but at this, the girl just laughs out loud, crushing Hidenori. The next time they see each other, the girl is worried Hidenori might hate him because how she laughed at him last time. Hidenori remarks that high school boys have zero shame and she's delusional if she thinks he still gives a fuck. She tries to apologize to him, but as she moves her hand, her manga slips out of her bag again due to the wind and flies off. She tries running after it, tries being the key word here, because she immediately slips dramatically and it's now Hidenori trying not to laugh at her. The literary girl really is a magician though, because for her next act, she's going to make her self-respect disappear, as she can't seem to get what seems to be a band-aid box open, so she just gives up midway, comes back up behind Hidenori pretending like none of that just happened. She tries to look cool by drinking water, but chokes on it immediately, and spits it back out. Hidenori is just about ready to burst out laughing, and she's not making it any easier not to. Then, as she gets some tissues out to wipe her face with, all of her tissues fly away because for the 10th time, it is windy at the riverbank. She tries to chase the flying tissues, but immediately slips and hits Hidenori instead. At this point, the facade has fallen. She starts wailing, and I don't mean cutely or softly weeping. She begins bawling her eyes out like a child. Hidenori, philosopher that he is, remarks that this is good. You shouldn't be trying to put on airs to get to like each other. You should be yourself. He then proceeds to knock her out by hitting her face with his head while trying to get up. Truly a raw human moment. He then remarks that this is not good, which I agree with, vehemently. At the end of the series, in the last episode, the two of them end up together, but I'm not going to cover that because it is way too wholesome. Themes of this channel, and because I'm sick and lazy. You know, like, subscribe, comment, all that, and goodbye. I'll see you guys very soon.